You want to know what I think an interesting conversation might be? And I'm not going to talk about all the negatives of The Last of Us 2 or how much I love The Last of Us 1. I'm not going to talk about Neil Druckmann and his choices. I just want to pose a question. It's something that I was thinking about the other day that kind of got me flowing, kind of got me going, kind of got me, And sometimes it takes a little bit for that to happen. I'm working on Call of Duty and GTA and just some other stuff. And sometimes I'm focusing so hard on building content for that I just kind of hit a stump. And honestly, I hit a stump and I remember this thing that I was thinking about the other day. And I was like, you know what? Let's talk about that. Obviously, we know that The Last of Us 2 is somewhat a story of revenge and then forgiveness or whatever, right? And I'm sure there's people already commenting, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course it's not. It's a story of this, and that. I get my fault. That's my interpretation of the story as it stands right now. But what I'm trying to get at is that this is the point of the story, right? We know that Ellie sets out on a journey across different states to find the killer of her father figure, Joel Miller. She is at the beginning filled with hatred, filled with revenge, filled with this anger, this almost bloodthirstiness to find these killers and kill them. And throughout her journey, she kills many, many, many people. And as we're playing as Ellie, we see the devastation that all these killings bring upon her. We feel how she feels cold and hollow and empty. We see her face just go from this happy little teenager that we met in The Last of Us Part 1, this lively, cracking jokes and being fun and excited about things, to this like really depressed, moody person and sad and angry and maybe filled with grief, not knowing how to handle this situation. As much as we like to say that Ellie was an adult and older and everything like that, she was, but she was 19 years old. And I think Joel grew a lot from The Last of Us 1 to The Last of Us 2. I don't think it made him any stupider or any less weary of his surroundings, but I do think that he grew a lot. I mean, he loved his daughter Sarah. He lost his world in his arms, and you can only imagine what he went through, right? And if we hear some of the stuff from The Last of Us 2 and we kind of try to remember what Joel was talking about throughout his journeys with Ellie, he did some really bad shit after Sarah died. Him and Tommy did shit that Tommy is even embarrassed to talk about, things that he might even feel very guilty about. And Joel says that he did those things to survive, whether it was killing innocent people, robbing innocent people, God knows what other things they did in this world that is broken, that is dead, that is heartless, this world that is going nowhere anymore. So Joel had to turn to the most evil, worst parts of himself and do bad things to survive in this world that is unforgiving. Now, Joel knows better than anyone what it is to go down that hole of depression and anger. Now, the reason that I speak on all of this is because if the roles would have been reversed in The Last of Us Part 2 and somehow Joe would have been restrained and he would have seen Ellie get brutally murdered in front of him, this girl that he now sees as his daughter, that it's basically his daughter, and he loves her, he cares for her, and he would do anything for her. We know who Joel is. We played as him through a whole game. We loved him. He's our guy. He's my favorite, one of my favorite characters of all time. So I know what Joel would have done. He would have absolutely, as soon as he would have woken up and came to, he would have packed, got all his shit, and he would have hunted these fuckers down. He would have hunted them down in the same, if not a more vicious way than Ellie. And he would have finished the job. He would have killed the person that killed Ellie, the person that hurt Ellie. He would have tortured them and killed them because that's how ruthless Joel Miller was. And just thinking about that, I'm like, wow, honestly, wow. But would it have made Joe feel any happier afterwards? Probably not. Joe probably would have been very sad and maybe would have returned to Jackson, maybe would have done something worse. Because as we know, he tried to kill himself at some point during The Last of Us 1. And so maybe he would have attempted it again in The Last of Us 2 because of maybe how devastated he would have been after the journey would have been done and realizing that Ellie was gone and he would have had to deal with his grief again, losing a second daughter. It would have been a really tough thing for Joe. I pose that there because we know what happened to Tommy. We know what happened to Jesse. We know what happened to Ellie in their pursuit of revenge. Although Joe would have gone after Ellie's killers, and although Joe probably would have finished the job, he would have done it because he was Joel, because he was the father, because he had experience, because he was hardened, because he already knew the consequences of trying to seek revenge, the consequences of killing. He had this viciousness to him that he probably would have been able to navigate better. He probably would have been able to do. And selfishly, as a man, as a father, you might think, I can handle it. I can do it because I'm the adult, because I'm the dad, because it's my responsibility. So maybe you take that responsibility and you do it. Some of you guys might or might not understand that, but that's how you would probably feel. I think that's how Joe would have felt. Now, I know that I've been rambling here, but it all comes down to this point, to this question that I wanted to ask. I could have asked in the beginning of the video. I'm sorry, I guess. I could have, but I wanted to say all of this to ask this. Would have Joe really wanted Ellie, hell, and even Tommy to go out there and try to get revenge for him? Do you think Joe would have been happy to see the choices that Ellie made? I'm trying to look at it from a father's perspective. I'm trying to look at it from the guy that I played with as Joel in the very first game. I'm trying to look at it as I was Joel. Me, you were Joel. All of us were Joel when we were playing as the character in the first game, and when we felt this connection to Ellie, and when we felt this loss of this man that he had with his daughter, and we felt how broken he was, and we felt how he was kind of softening up and opening up to Ellie. And we saw this, we felt all this. We went through his struggle, through these choices that he had to make that were tough and difficult. So now we're this man. Would we have wanted Ellie to go through that? As much as we loved her, as much as we cared for her, as much as we loved her as a daughter, as much as Joel loved her? I don't think Joel would have wanted that burden on her. I think from his conversations that he had with Ellie, even before she died, I think he would have wanted Ellie to just not even be there. And I'm not saying that the story that we got in The Last of Us 2 is how it should have went. I'm just saying that if Joel had the opportunity to tell Ellie something, I think he would have told her, like, don't even bother chasing anybody. I think Joel could have been like, yes, they murdered me. Yes, they killed me. But honestly, I was dead for many years, since my daughter died. I was dead. I had no, I was just kind of getting by. I met you and I felt alive again. I felt happy again. Look at him during the museum expedition in The Last of Us 2. I recently went back and played The Last of Us, and I went through that part again, and Joel is laughing. He's wearing a hat, wandering around. Ellie's telling him, don't you take it off. This is my gift. Like, they have this great father-daughter relationship in that particular scene, in that particular whole mission, that I think Joel loved Ellie so much and cared for her so much that he would have never wanted her to go down this path of revenge, down this bloodthirsty path, hurting herself, killing people, losing 2 fingers. All of this hurt that came from her wanting to hunt down Joel's killers and get some sort of justice. I don't think Joel would have wanted that. I think he would not have wanted that for her at all. If anything, I think he would have wanted her to keep the good, beautiful memories that they did have and the time that they did spend, and just kind of remember that and cherish that forever while she stayed in Jackson, in a place that Joel thought was safe, with his brother Tommy who could protect her, with Jesse, with Dina, with all her friends around her. I think Joel would have wanted Ellie to live a good life there in Jackson. He would have wanted her to be safe because at the end of the day, he was her dad, and her dad is always going to want to protect his daughter. He would have never wanted Ellie to go out into this crazy, vicious, disgusting world, crazy ass place and try to hunt down his killers because of everything that could have happened. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's a point here, guys. I wanted to talk about this because it was on my mind. So again, to simplify everything that I've been saying here, would Joel have wanted Ellie to hunt down his killers? I don't think so. And I think that makes it even more tragic because honestly, I couldn't have thought of this when I first played the game because I was so fucking revenge filled. Like, I wanted to kill Abby no matter what. And then when I played it the first time we didn't kill Abby, I was so fucking pissed off. So it was like anger and emotions clouded my judgment. And this thought came to my head the other day. Would have Joel even wanted that? Probably not. And it makes it worse and makes it even more sad just to think. I wonder what Joel would have thought if he would have seen everything that occurred and the aftermath. You know how Ellie is at the end of the game playing the little guitar, but she can't even play it because she lost the 2 fingers, and then she kind of leaves the house and walks away. Who knows where she walks? Imagine if Joel would have been able to see everything up to that point. I wonder how heartbroken he would have been to see his daughter, the girl that he loves, that he cared so much for and wants the best for, being so broken, devastated, depressed, and even losing 2 fingers that now she can't even play the guitar the way that he taught her. He would have been heartbroken. And I think it would have added insult to injury to see his brother crippled. He blinded in one eye, his marriage destroyed. I think just so much about how he would have felt. And then to see Jesse, a kid that he helped probably raise, who he taught a lot of things, who he had a good relationship with, a good rapport with, see him die because they went out to try to get revenge for him. Joe would have felt absolutely terrible if he was there to see everything that happened just because he died, just because he was brutally murdered. And I think that is a good conversation to be had, and I'm very curious to know your thoughts down in the comments below.